तव कथामृतं तप्त जीवनं कविभिडीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमंगलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भुरिदा जनाः. Let us resume our discussion on Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual discourses with his intimate devotees at Dakshineshwar temple premises on 22nd February 1885, Sunday, following the almanac birthday of Tithi Puja of Sri Ramakrishna. After a day-long spiritual conversation in the evening, Sri Ramakrishna was lost in divine ecstasy, and the addressing Girish Chandra Ghosh, he was singing devotional songs one after another. He sang several songs full of divine fervor, and the last song which we discussed in our Sunday interaction 2 weeks from now was the song where it is said that when the divine bhava, mood, comes to a devotee, then two things happen. One is his body becomes fully charged with devotion, and secondly, his intellect is subdued. Bhavete bharala tanu harala gyan. The body becomes incapable of holding the divine surge. So much of devotion comes within the body that it becomes disbalanced, which we found in the life of Sri Ramakrishna and other saints and seers like Chaitanya Deva, etc. And then they seem to be losing their external consciousness. Now Sri Ramakrishna is making a correction here that the consciousness which is lost is the consciousness of the outer world, whereas the consciousness of the consciousness of the internal world is fully in operation. This we have to understand. Our mind has different levels for its operation. When we are in the wakeful state, Jagrat Avastha, then we are conscious of the external world, with the world outside us, the world which we see with eyes open. With all our sense organs open, the world we interact is through our normal consciousness. And when we are in touch with God, the normal consciousness is lost. Though we are in this world, we are seeing the world, but we are not able to perceive the external world. That's what he said, he is dead to the external world. But that does not mean that he is unconscious. He has another level of consciousness, which is called superconscious. That is achieved even with eyes closed. That's what Sri Ramakrishna says here, that this is Tattva Gyan, this is Brahma Gyan, this is knowledge of the divine that is existing. So the thought of God or devotion does not rob us of our consciousness, but it takes us away from the normal consciousness to super consciousness. That is the correction he makes here. That we discussed in our Sunday, the last Sunday class, 2 weeks from now. Because last Sunday we had the spiritual retreat on the occasion of Holy Mother's birthday celebration. Now Sri Ramakrishna is giving another thought here. Bhakti Shar. He is saying here, भक्ति ही सार है. Now in bhakti there are two dimensions Sri Ramakrishna is saying. सकाम भक्ति भी है और निष्काम भक्ति भी है. There are two dimensions here is mentioned. Bhakti or love of God is the only essential thing. One kind of bhakti has a motive behind it, and there is a motiveless love, pure devotion, in love of God that seeks no return. Now we worship God, we offer our devotion to God, usually with some motive behind. There is also devotion, but that is not pure devotion. So in the devotional schools, there are 4 varieties of devotees. It is mentioned. There are 4 varieties of devotees worship me. Bhagavan says in the Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvidha bhajanti mam jana sukritino Arjuna. 4 types of devotees worship me, and they are all sukritina. They are all fortunate, they are blessed, because they worship me. Whoever worships God is indeed fortunate, because they have got the occasion to be in touch with the divine. Just now he said that bhakti sar hai, the essential aspect of our being is devotion. Now, here he says, love of God is the only essential thing in the world. The rest are all non-essential. This makes a great statement in our life. We should be noted and adhered to. In our life we have various agenda. Throughout the life we have various agenda. But Sri Ramakrishna says the most important, essential and indispensable item is love. We are born to love God. This is the goal of our life. The goal of our life is to love God. That we should never forget in this milli. There is so many of the different activities going on in our life. We forget the main purpose for which we have assumed this human body. God has given us this rare human body so that we may be able to love Him. He has given this body and also a faculty to love. Everyone knows how to love. Even an animal knows how to love its children, how to love its playmates. So everyone knows how to love. But what they forget, this faculty of love has been given to them so that they may love God. But instead of loving God, we are loving so many things other than God. That is the tragedy of our life. That's why Sri Ramakrishna says that we should never forget that to love God is the most essential thing in life. And in this effort to love God, we come across two stages, Sakam Bhakti and Nishkam Bhakti. The Sakam Bhakti, that is Bhakti with a motive, is a love in the preparatory stage, in the kindergarten stage. It is not the attitude of an adult. When we are a child, then we behave in this childish way. When we become adult, we know how to behave in a mature way. So the spiritual maturity transforms the love with motive into love without motive. सकाम भक्ति से निष्काम भक्ति में उत्तीर्ण होना ही हमारे आध्यात्मिक वास्तविकता है, सवालिकता है. We are all nabalik, we are all immature, we are loving God with some purpose. Love is a way to achieve something, that is not love. But anyway, Sri Ramakrishna is giving recognition to that love also, and so in the Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna this categorizes 4 types of devotees, Chaturvidha Bhajante Mam, and they are all fortunate beings, Sukritina. Who are they? Artha Jigga Surartharthi Gyani Cha Paramarshava. तो ये the artha, those who are distressed, those who have some void in their life which they want to fulfill with the help of God. There is nothing harm. So he is seeking the divine grace, help, assistance from God, so that his distress may be removed. Distress may be of various types. Either he has some physical distress, or some mental distress, some financial problem, social problem, family problem, whatever problems are there. कोई परेशान है, अर्थ distressed है. When one is distressed, he wants to get rid of the distress with the help of God. That's why he is offering his devotion. Obviously, this offering of devotion is a misuse of the rare gift of God given to us. God has given us this devotion to offer to God without any motive. But however, most of the people are not using it at all. So some people start with misusing the devotee, the devotion. At least the devotion is put to some use, but not proper use. But that's why they are also fortunate. So they approach God with some motive. So this one is artha. Another variety is the jigyasu, those who are inquisitive. They don't love God. They are offering the devotion in order to fulfill some of their questionnaire. They want to know what is the nature of God. They want to call on God to find out their inquisitiveness. कुछ जिज्ञासा है. The research scholars, they want to get some data about God, to know about Him. They don't want to love Him for their intellectual satisfaction. They are collecting some data, and that's why they are offering devotion to God and to know it directly from Him. That's also good, but not the best, definitely. They are also using this devotion to fulfill their intellectual desires. And third is that outright businessmen, artharthi, they are offering devotion to God with the motive that their prayers is satisfied in return. Artha arthi, they make an investment with the hope of return with dividend. That's why the investments are done. Businessmen कुछ पैसा लगा देते हैं ताकि उस पैसे से कुछ मुनाफा हो जाए, प्रॉफिट होना चाहिए. So they make a gift to God for some amount with the hope that it may be returned with multiple benefits. जैसे बिजनेस में लगाते हैं, 1000 रुपया लगा दिया, लाख रुपया मिला, give and take. So this is the bartering system with God. Though it is far from real devotion, nevertheless it is also a form of devotion. This is Sakam Bhakti. Sri Ramakrishna says here, the two varieties, one is Sakam Bhakti and the second variety is Nishkam Bhakti, without any motive, love for love's sake. So, when by offering this devotion with motive, then gradually we proceed to God, and when our mind becomes mature, when we attain the spiritual maturity, then we learn to love God for God's sake, and that is true love. When love is a way, it's not love at all. When love is the end in itself, it is love. Bhakti कोई उद्देश्य नहीं है. Bhakti is not the stepping stone to arrive somewhere. Bhakti is an end in itself. When you love God for love's sake, that is true devotion, that is pure devotion. And that is what wanted in our life. That is the goal. Our goal is not to have devotion with motive. Our goal is to have devotion without motive. But that doesn't come all on a sudden. We start our life with devotion with some motive. And gradually, when we become mature, then the motive drops off and our devotion becomes pure and God reveals Himself. This is the system. So here, Sri Ramakrishna is saying that the bhakti or devotion is the essential thing in life. That the most covetable part of our existence. And though there are this devotion with motive and devotion without motive, and that is the most covetable thing. Now, there is called Shuddha Bhakti, Ahetuki Bhakti. Bhakti without any rhyme or reason. In this world, everything we calculate, the reason for doing anything. That's what we calculate. Why should I do? If there is any return, then only I will venture. But if there is nothing in return, then why should you do work? Work becomes redundant. So here, Sri Ramakrishna says, it's called pure devotion or bhakti without any reason. Bhakti, devotion for devotion's sake. So these are the different varieties. Now he is mentioning that Keshav Sen, the Brahmo leader, they even couldn't understand that how can there be love without any reason. In this world, whatever we do must have some reason, some karan hona chahiye. बिना कारण क्यों काम करेंगे? But in the language of devotion, devotion has no purpose. Devotion for devotion's sake. We sing Aratik Bhajan every evening, praise of Sri Ramakrishna. There we utter the prayer, stuti of Sri Ramakrishna, wherein it says this Nishkarana Bhakata Sharana Tyaji Jati Kulo Man. God helps the devotees discarding all discriminations about their the ancestry, their prestige, their position in the society. These are all not of any consideration for God. He helps the devotees without any reason. We don't deserve. God helps the devotees not for any. Why? You see, in this world, we never do anything for which there is no reason. Without reason, we have not learned to work. Our every work is propelled by some hetu, karan, reason. Whatever we do, there must be reason. We study to get the qualification. This is the reason we work. Why? To get money, remuneration. We do anything for getting enjoyment. We avoid anything to save our problems. Everything we do for some purpose. But here is a subject that is prem, which is exercised without any reason. This love for love's sake, and that is pure love. When there is any reason, then pure love is not possible. We have this, Swami Vivekananda explains, we see the morning sun and we appreciate. There is no reason. You don't get anything in return. Neither the sun expects anything from you. Sun is beautiful. You see the sun and you appreciate. Just for the sake of appreciation. You don't get anything. It's an expression of the appreciation within you. Similarly, you see a child. You love the child. Not for any reason. Neither the child expects from you anything, neither you expect anything from the child. That is pure love. That is true love. And that is what expected from us towards God. That is the goal of our life. We have this love in abundance within us, but unfortunately, there is no occasion that we manifest or utilize this love to make our life meaningful. From beginning to end, we go on running after some motive, and the life is wasted without experiencing the true joy which is obtained by love. This bhakti is the source of perennial joy. That Narada says, bhakti is ananda sarupa, amrit sarupa cha. It makes our life immortal. We become immortal. Amrit ban jate hain. We become full of joy, full of bliss by the touch of this divine love. A drop of that divine love makes our life full of bliss. But when we will be learning to love without any calculation, whenever there is any motive behind, then love drops this to passion. प्रेम काम में परिणत हो जाता है, काम में आनंद नहीं है, प्रेम में आनंद है. What is the paribhasha? What is the definition of Anand? Whatever we get in this world, we feel we are getting happiness. We do everything to obtain happiness, joy in this world. But the definition of happiness is, it has to be infinite, it has to be continuous, and it has to be without any reaction. Whatever we get in this world has three riders. It is neither continuous, nor infinite, nor producing any reaction. Always it has a reaction. And it ends. It is decreasing. Any form of love is of a decreasing dimension, whereas the love of God is an increasing dimension. Pratikshana Bardhanshil. Love of God, love of any joy is not continuously rising. Whatever joy we have, it reaches a peak and then it falls. But love of God, it never knows a peak. It is ever increasing, ever expanding. It is infinite, it is continuous. That is the goal of our life. It is not out of our reach. First of all, you have to know that we are born with this divine heritage. It is our birthright to have this joy of God. It is within us. But we have to develop a taste for it. Ruchi paida hona chahiye. We are born to have this joy within us. That is the goal of life. That's why Sri Ramakrishna says, Bhakti Sar. The golden statement. If we remember only this statement, that is enough for our life. That pure devotion is the only essential thing in life. All rest are subordinate, secondary. They are unnecessary item in life. Most essential item is to obtain pure devotion, pure love for God. Love is within us. It's not a thing we have to procure from outside. God has created us, giving this love within us so that we can offer it to God. But we are offering our love to the entire world and we are getting frustration in return. Life after life, we are doing the same practice with the same mistake and coming back again and again. Our Shastras, our scriptures, our saints and seers are inviting us so that we can make an end to this endless journey of running towards enjoyment with some hope of reward. We should learn to exercise our power of devotion and love for the love's sake without any motive. We should have the courage. We should have the grit, the boldness to say that I love for love's sake. I do not want anything in return. We have everything within us. Why should I have a begging attitude? Everywhere we have a begging attitude. I want something. We forget that we have the attitude to give. That's why Sri Ramakrishna says, always take the position of a giver. Never become a beggar. Take a position of giver, give whatever you have, and you'll be surprised to find that you'll be replenished. Whatever you give will be reimbursed, will be replenished by God more than you can give. When we learn to give without any hope of return, then our life becomes fulfilled, our life becomes blessed, and we attain the goal of life. We'll continue further in our next Sunday class, which will be the newer day in next year. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namama. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. We close now with the chanting of the Lord. Please join with me. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Next Sunday we'll have New Year Day. In the morning there will be gospel class. In the afternoon there will be Kalpataru Utsav from 2 o'clock. And in the evening there will be Interfaith Goodwill Meet in this auditorium. All of you are welcome.